our third session of fourth day of our FTP on machine learning. So we have done with two sessions, and now there is a time to do the hands-on on neural network and the CNN networks. And our expert, Dr. Pradeep Kumar Roy, is again connected with us. So welcome, sir, to the post-run session.
Thank you, Sunil.
Yeah, okay. Fine, sir. So hopefully we have 60 participants are connected, and others will be connecting in 1 or 2 minutes. So we can start the session, and I guess they will be connected soon, all the other participants. So
Okay.
okay, so I'd like to, hand over this session to you, sir, and please proceed.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. So morning session, I have shown some representation of the text using bag of words and TF-IDF vector. I've also shown some how to use the word embeddings and at all. So in this session, we'll see one by one all these representation, how we can perform using this small Python code. So be with me. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, you are free to unmute yourself and you can ask, because when I am presenting, I am unable to see the text message or chat window where I am unable to see any message that is posted in the chat window. But if you have any doubt, you can post even that can be answered at the end of the session. So be with me, I'm just sharing my screen. Okay. So can anyone please confirm whether this screen is shared or not? Visible?
Screen is not visible. Yeah, now visible.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to use this Google Colab, but you can use the Jupyter Notebook as well for the same purpose. Few initial commands you have to use in the Google Colab. Here it is. Suppose if you are in your Google Drive, just take a right click and you can open a new notebook using by selecting the Google Collaborate. It is enable us to open a new notebook form. From here onwards, you just write some sample code and then you can continue the execution process. This is still loading. My internet probably is getting slow. That's why I have done little bit, some tasks I have done before in order to get it without any delay or any fact. So this is a similar window that I have opened here. Same window is there. You can open it and you can just execute some initial code. It will ask to get the mounted. I have just now I have executed this all parts, so they are not asking any password or any key. Then it is already mounted. Then the next command is simply just looking or reaching to the current folder. So I'm moving to my current folder, name is FDP. So inside my drive, there is a my drive, then FDP is a folder name and where all the content like the data set and the embeddings are present. So I'm using, currently I'm in my folder. Now, first of all, we'll explain how the one-hot encoding actually works. How the one-hot encoding actually works. So in the first example, I import one from the NumPy library. I have imported one object name is array. In the first example, few words are there. This is the one message, a list of words. A list of words name is cold, cold, warm, cold, hot, hot, warm, cold, warm, and hot. So few words we have. Now suppose I want to perform this one hot encoding, then how it look like. So few lines are there and that is converted into the array form. So we have this word, the collection of words with us. Now, in the scikit-learn, we have one, we have to import the one, again, a package name is level encoder. And the job of level encoder is, it will encode all the individual means word. They give some numbers to all individual words. They are following some alphabetical order. So if you return a character, what is start with A, it will receive the index value 0, and if word is start with B, it will receive 1, and so on. Or suppose there is no word is with B, directly A after then C, then C is received the first index. So we can see in this example what we have. So if you see the total number of words is 10. Cold, 2 to 4 to 6 to 8, 10. Total number of words in the given message is 10. But how many different indexes is given? Only 0, 1, and 2. 3 indexes means in the given set of words, only 3 different words are there. Only 3 different words. First word is cold, second word is warm, third one is hot. Only 3 words. Now, index value for the word cold, because if you see the alphabetically, the index value cold is appear first, then we have hot, then we have warm. So word cold is encoded with 0. Currently it is encoded, integer encoded, not one hot encoding. It is integer encoded as 0. Then the word hot is encoded as with 1, and then finally it will come warm, that is encoded with 2. If you see this list, the first 2 are 0, 0. The word is cold. Then we have warm. Warm is integer encoded is 2. Then so on. It's the same thing. Again, cold is there. So cold is encoded with 0. Then hot 2 times. Then it is 1, 1. Again, warm we have, that is encoded with 2. Then again, cold. Cold is encoded with 0. Warm is encoded with 2, and hot is encoded with 1. It's a simple encoding, integer encoding. The given line of code is given some integer value to all different words in the given message. In the given message, we have only 3 different words, and each word receives some index value based on their alphabetical order. Now, in this line of code, we are just trying to encode this message into one hot encoding format. So what you see, I am running this code. Once this code, after this lines of code, there is a one hot encoder function is there that is already present. This one hot encoder function is present in scikit-learn library. You have to just import it. So I have imported one hot encoder, and I have passed our in one hot encoder we have fit with integer encoded. Whatever the data we have encoded our data. We have encoded our data here with an integer encoded, that is passed here, and you see what is the output. The print statement printed this one. What does it mean? So if you see the first one, as we have already seen here, 0, 1, and 2, only 3 different integer we have. Now every word is represented in 3 you can say 3 columns we have. For each word it is a 3 vector. A vector value is represented into 1:3. So each word is represented into 3 format. So 1, 0, 0. The first word is cold, and cold having the number 0. So cold is 0. So whenever in the index it is cold, in the list whenever cold is appear, it is replaced with 1, 0, 0. Again, second one is also cold, so it is also replaced with 1, 0, 0. Now next one is warm. Warm, what is the integer encoded is a 2. For warm we have 2, so it is encoded as 0, 0, 1. If you see the position, if you assume the position first column is 0, second column is 1, and third column is 2. That means cold, hot, and warm. So this is simple one hot encoding technique. So whatever the message we have, first of all, it is going to be identify how many different messages. They will receive some integer number, and that number is going to be encoded with the form of one hot encoding format. See this one. To verify this one, whether this is really working or not working, we have added few more words. 2 words I have added here. If you see the last 2 words I have added in the previous message: apple and parrot. Apple and parrot. And then I have run same code. If you see, I am just running. This block is run. Now I run this block, and we will see what the output we are getting. If you see this time, how many encoded? Total 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Earlier we have 0, 1, 2. But 2 different words I have added just now. One is apple and another is parrot. Now, as I said, they are assigning the integer value based on alphabetical order. They are not using any random order in the given case. So apple, obviously the index value is 0. The next is C, that is cold. So it is index value is 1. If you see their one hot encoding, it is also same. See here, the apple, that is the second last word of the message, that is encoded as with 0. And cold, that is encoded with 1. Same representation we have. If you see the all words representation, the first and the second last, the first place we have 1, 0, 0, 0. That means the apple encoding at 1 4 times 0, whereas cold, that means the second, the integer index as 1, it is encoded as 0, 1, 0, 0. So this is a simple one hot encoding, means the message is converted into one hot encoded form. This is a complete set of array. Each and every word is encoded into 1:4, you can say. So number of words, whatever we have. Another one, suppose you have the, instead of individual words, you have a complete message, a set of message you have as an input. It may possible that we have, in general, we have this kind of message only. The second example you can see here. So what we have, our text is contain 3 messages basically. Hello, how are you? Hello, hello, hello. Am I audible? Then third one is Indian team played well. Yes. So 3 messages we have in the given context. Then what we have to do? Again, we are going to use the same things we are going to do and see what we will get. So we have just seen the one hot encoder. Second one, we have count vectorizer. So instead of one hot vector, you can use the count vectorizer as well. It is also available in the same scikit-learn library. You just call it, and here I am doing the same. I call the count vectorizer function, then I pass the complete text, whatever we have in my data as a data set. A complete text is passes to this vector, count vector. Then extracted all unique words of the given data. They are extracted all unique words. They are missing the single character word. You can see they are not encounter the single character. That may be one limitation, you can say. They are not catching the single character word. They are not assuming this is a word. So they are skipping, but this is a limitation. We cannot do anything. This is a predefined function. We are just using it. Okay. So here what is happening? So how many different words are there that is extracted? Means all are treated as a features. So here we have all, if you see, M are audible, hello, how, Indian, played, team, will, you. So again, they are arranged in the alphabetical order. These are the different words that is present in the complete message. In the complete data set, we have only these many different words. So hello is appeared 3 times here, but they are counting only 1 time. Actually, all are same. So hello is there. Then if you convert into the vector format, see how it is look like. So hello, how are you? These few lines are there. Vector dot transfer and just transferring into the array format. So here it is. Hello, how are you? Having the representation of this array representation. Second one is hello, hello, hello. Am I audible? They are represented using this one. Now here we can see something. Hello is appear. The word hello is appear 3 times in the given message. And all 3 are counted. All 3 are counted. First one, the first one is represented the word M. Second one, if you see this one, this message, if you see this message, in this message we have to encode our second message. So this is the index 0, this is the index 1, you can see this is index 2, this is the actually number of features we have. And we are just counting in a particular message, a particular word is there or not there. If it is there, then how many times it is? And that number we have to place. So instead of making only 0 and 1, you have to take care of that particular word count as well as in the given particular message. For example, in the given case, we have the second message. The word hello is appeared 3 times. Then all 3 are mentioned here in place of that hello. So it's a 4th position. If you see, hello is appear at the 4th position, and in the second message is the 4th position, 3 number is presented. So they are counting each and every word. Now the problem with such kind of representation is what? If you see the message of few words are appear frequently, like the stop words is, am, are, A and B, these are the articles. These are the frequent occurring words. And if you are giving the high number to that, means you are giving the high weightage. If you are using count vectorization technique and to represent your text into the vector format, then what will happen? The few words, even though it won't carry too much context or meaning, still their weightage is going to be very high. Why? Because we are simply counting their appearance, nothing else. So a particular word like the, is appearing after each two or second or third words. Means if a message length is 30, probably the particular word the is appear more than 5 or 6 times. Whereas few words like the genuine words having some context, like the good or bad or suppose not, these words having the very less frequency. The frequency of the stop word is too much or too high, and that actually misleads the learning process. So if you are doing this count vectorization process to transform your text, you may face some unwanted, or you can say unpredictable outcome. In some cases, sometimes it may give the good result as well. One way is what we can filter out those stop words before processing the data itself. That is called the text pre-processing. We know very well the few steps we have to perform before passing to any model. So during the text pre-processing only, we can remove all such stop words that won't carry too much meaning in the message. It actually helps to build a good model. So in the given case, we have encountered the limitations of count vectorization. So even though, see, only 3 messages we have in the given case, 3 messages, and if you see the number of 0, how many times this 0 is appear, only few places we have 1, 1, 1, and many places are 0. So 3:10, the current size of the matrix. Now, if you think like the real scenario where your data size is 10,000 row and the number of unique words in the 10,000 message is suppose 30,000 or 40,000. In that case, each and every row having 30,000 columns. Among those, only 1, 2, 3, 4 columns are going to be filled with some values, remaining all are remain 0. That much sparse it is, and it is not good for any model. So same thing is there. In order to avoid this, so here it is, same lines are repeated, and if you want, you can save these lines, save this encoded vector into the new file as well. So here, some classes I have assigned. Here it is a C, how the messages are presented into the data frame format. So if the message is hello, 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 second message if you see here. So hello, in just below to the hello, what is there? 3. If you see the first message, hello, how are you? So they are scanning from first location. R is present in the first message, yes, put 1. M is there, no, put 0. Then is the hello word is there? Yes, then put 1. But audible is not there, so put 0. Then second, how is there in the first message? Place 1. Then Indian is there? No, 0. Played is 0, no. Remaining all are 0 except last one, that is U. U is present. So there is no order of the means even hello, how are you? Are you, how hello? Or how you are hello? All have the same representation. If you shuffle the words of the message, every means only is a collection of words in the representation, whatever the order of the words in the message, they have the common representation because they are only scanning the presence of a particular word as well as the number of times it is present or not present. Second is, if you want to perform any classification, you must have a label. So just based on the message, if you want, you can assign the label as well as to the given data. So the first message I assign class 0, second message I assign class 1, and third message I class 1. So in this way, here it is. So one more column is appended in the given data frame, and the classes for the first one is class 0, second one is class 0, and third one is class 1. So based on the context, you can assign that class manually also. Now you can see the shape of the data set 3:11. Total 10 features we have, and one column just added as a target. So, and the number of column is number of row is 3 messages and 11 columns. This is the save of the database. Now, if you want, you can save this data into a new new CSV as well using the simple command data in which you have your data frame is saved to CSV is a command. It will save your data into the new CSV. Here it is. You can see the save 3:12. One column is added by default. If you perform this operation, one column is going to be added. You can avoid it or you can just remove it during the further processing. So if you see, there is a column that is added is what? This 012. This is added additionally. Apart from whatever the data we have here, same thing is present in our message. Same thing is present in the new file address. So this is the one limitation I said in the count factorization, that what if you have not performed the pre-processing step properly and your data having some stop words that frequently occurring word actually in your complete message, that may create the problem. So what the other solution we have? We have another solution is term frequency and verse document frequency. So you can use this technique to represent the text as well. So what we have again, from the scikit-learn, you have to import these functions, tf-idea vectorizer. Same like the count vectorizer, we have called this function and we fit our text. The complete message, whatever we have present, the 3 messages, same message I pass here also. Then we just printed out the features and their value. So instead of getting 0, 1 or 1 to their count, we are getting some numerical values. So there is no dominating now. If you see the hello, the word hello, since it is appear in a single message, that's why it is look like this one. If the word hello is appear more than one message, if it is appear in more than one message, where it is? Yes. So if it is appear more than one message or almost all messages, which are more frequent words, then automatically it is their frequency is going to be decreases. Means number of times it is going to be division is going to be more, value is going to be more, number of documents in which this particular word is appeared, and it actually gives the lesser dominance. It's automatically going to be decreased. In our case, we have only 3 samples. So it's counted the total number of words in a particular message and then divided the number of messages in which this particular word is occurred. So currently we are getting 0.84, but suppose a particular word is most frequently occurred word and it is present in almost all documents, automatically their value is going to be reduced. So they are not going to dominate anymore. So this is another way we can avoid that dominant feature, or we can reduce this kind of information. So this is the 2 different ways of text representation. Now we are going to perform some classification, normal classification. The third method I think you have already know. So what is that? The manual feature engineering. We have another approach. You can do the manual feature engineering. Like you have to, suppose you have a message, then you can count the length of the words. That may be the one feature, length of the message, or second, maybe their readability score. So instead of individual word as a feature, you can do some feature engineering, and you have to identify the possible features for the given text. So length of the message, readability, the number of you can say incorrect word, number of incorrect word or correct word, then number of suppose lengthy words, or suppose the complex word, you can say the words that is hard to understand. So there are many features. You can extract textual features, and that also called the representation of the text to numbers, or you can say text to the vector. So if you don't want to use either one vector techniques, vectorization or TF-idea vectorization or count vectorization technique, you can do the manual feature engineering. But this also have some limitations. If you are doing the manual feature engineering, again you may face the problem of finding the correct features for your problem. What happens, sometimes we identify few features are going to be work for my problem. It is fine. But what if the problem definition is going to be changed slightly? So the features that you have identified manually for a problem 1 may or may not be, it is going to be fit with problem 2. So every new problem you have to decide a new feature set, and that itself a tedious task. We don't know which features is going to help us to achieve a good prediction accuracy, and that is one of the reasons that to avoid the manual feature engineering. Because if you spend a lot of time to find out the correct features or required features, still it may not be so useful for the next problem, or even the problem that you are solving may not fit properly, then of the extracted features, then you have to rethink again what features I have to extract. So to overcome this one, we have some automated feature extraction techniques. We'll come to that point. Before that, we'll see classification, spam classification using features that is extracted using the TF-IDF vector. We'll see how it works. So same line is there. We have read one spam.csv. Spam.csv, one file is there, and how many samples are there? The sample is 5572. Number of rows is 5572, and the column is 2. So one column is label, another column is email. The email contains the messages, so I kept in the message, and the label there, whether this is a spam or ham, this is stored into the label format. Then shape of the message is the same, 5572. Transforming text into the vector format. It is same whatever we have done just before. So I call the TF-IDF vectorizer. You can use either one-hot or counter vectorization technique. So after TF-IDF vectorizer, I pass all the messages, whatever we have, and we got the feature. Number of features in this case is 8672. That means that many words is unique in the given complete data. In complete data set of the SPAM data set, we have 8672 numbers of unique features. Few features started from index value 5000 to 5005 are MET, method, MF, MFL, MGS, and so on. These are the messages that is present in our as a feature. All are act as a feature. Now see, we have converted our complete message into the array format. Earlier it was, what is the shape of my message? 5572. So my message is 5572. Now if you perform into the array format, the message format, each and every message is represented into 8672. Number of columns is 8672 and number of rows is 5572. So each and every message is represented using these many columns. So this is the current shape of our message. Next, we have the label. Label shape is that means whatever the number of rows we have, for every row we have one label, whether this is a spam or not a spam. From here onwards, I splitted the data into two parts, train and test. Testing part name as the validation valid act, and the training part is train act. You can see I kept the 30% of data for testing. So shape of the training and validation is look like this one. So 3900 data is used for the training the model, and 1672 remaining 1672 data is used for the test purpose. Now for the valid, you can see their target shape. This is 3900 and 1672. Now from here onwards, we are going to apply some classifiers. So we have our data, the spam data we have from the very beginning. We have our spam data set. Now this is the content of our spam data set. We have not performed any pre-processing step. Whatever the data we directly pass to TF-IDF vectorizer. They have what they give a number to each and every token, and they identify 8672 number of features or tokens, you can say, present in our complete data. Then this data is converted into the data is converted into that vector format using this TF-IDF vectorizer, and we have, this is a shape. The complete data is again split into two parts, training and testing. Testing at 30% data and training 70% data is going to be used of the total. Then three classifiers currently I am using. One is random forest, one is logistic regression, and one is a multinomial net base. And then to check this model performance, we have accuracy and accuracy score. Only one is accuracy score is used here. We'll see. So first one I call the multinomial net base by fixing the value of alpha is equal to 0.7. It can be changed 0.5, 6, 7, anything you can put between 0 to 1. So by this one, we have this result. If you run this cell, we have this result, the precision, recall, F1 score, and the support. Support means how much data in the test sample we have. This is here. If you see the confusion matrix of this classifier, that means we have 1410, that is the ham data, means this is not a spam. It is all data is correctly classified. There is no misclassification with actual emails, but few spam emails are classified as actual, or you can say ham email, that is 66. That is misclassification. And that's why we have the recall value is low. Due to this misclassification, you can see the recall value is low. You can change the classifier and you can see the performance. We'll see one by one what we are getting. So from the very beginning, we run all the cell one by one. We'll check. See, they are asking for the permission. Okay, so far there is no. So length of the features is 8672. You can see the same cell. The shape of the our array is this one. Then level shape. Then splitting the data. And shape of the target. Finally, we have applied here multinomial node base, and we are getting this accuracy. If we change this value, we see whether is there any changes in the result or not. So our learning rate is very low. So if I put this one, what is the outcome? Yes, it is good. If I keep the learning rate is high, then our model given the little bit lower accuracy. Now see, something is problem here. Overall accuracy is improved, but the few actual messages misclassified, whereas few spam messages are as well. So it is the problem specific what you want. Some cases we can sacrifice with this result, and some cases we don't want any single misclassification. So if you change the classifier, we'll see with the logistic regression what we are getting. We have almost similar result. Few misclassification with ham messages and few misclassification with this one, but almost similar kind of result. So you can just change this, you can apply the few classifier and you can see this what the result we are getting. So this is all about the using the PFID vector. Now what will happen if the same thing will apply on neural network architecture? So for neural network architecture, what we have to do, already features are extracted, same features we have to pass. Same features we have to pass. So what I am doing from Keras. Keras is a library that is present, and you have to import this sequence here. Then one more is dense. These all are available in the Keras library. You have to import two functions. One is sequential, another is dense. Now we have already extracted the features. Features length is 8. How many features are there? 8, 7, 8, 6, 7, 2. These many features we have. Now see this. If I kept this first layer is an input layer having that many features. Whatever the dimension of the features we have, it's same as it is. Next layer we have the 12 neurons. After that, again, next we have the 8 neurons, and finally we have at output layer only single neuron. So only 3 layers I kept. 2 hidden layer, 1 output layer, and 1 input layer. That means that only the configuration of my neural network. And see what I am getting here. So I'm just running this cell. So these are the many features in use. The number of features I said. Then model.summary. Now see this one. What we have. So dense layer 1 having layer 1 output step only this is showing. So input layer, the parameter is not showing here, but we'll see when we will print the complete model. But dense layer 1 having 12 neurons, dense layer 2 having the 8 neurons, and dense layer 3 having only 1 neuron. The question is, what is this parameter? During the presentation, I skipped this part. Let me evaluate this part. So this is actually, I said, the number of neurons that is present at input layer, or you can say number of features that is present at input layer to the number of neurons present at first hidden layer. The number of unique features that we have is 8672. So 8672 into 12. Can anyone tell me what is the output? 8672 into 12. What is the output? Let me do from my end also. 8672
04064.
104064, right?
Yes, sir.
And plus 12 bias. Plus add 12 additional weight, that is a bias. Can we get this number? 104076.
Yes, yes.
Yes. So these many parameters, or you can say these many weights are present between input to first hidden. Now from first to second layer, hidden layer, we have decided that in first layer we have only 12 neurons, and second layer we have only 8 neurons. So 12 into 8, what is the number? 96, right? Plus 8. 12 into 8 plus 8. How many? It's a 104. So second layer we have these many parameters. And third layer, from previous output to next, we have only single neuron. As per our model configuration, we have put only one given at the output layer. So 8 into 1, that is 8 plus the y. That means 8 plus 1, 9. So these many parameters we have in our network, whatever we have constructed so far for the given feature. The total count is these many, 104, 189. Now, if you want to train this model, you have to train all this weight based on the accuracy that is achieved by the model. In order to execute or process, we have to encode our label. Currently, label is spam and ham. That is not going to accept by the Keras. They need encoded label. Like the data is encoded into the vector format. Similarly, they need the label as well. They don't want any text. Currently, it is spam and ham. So by using this label encoder, we have encoded our train and test. We can see how it looks like now. So train Y, if you see this one, this is now a form of array. Similarly, validation Y, you can check. This is no more spam and ham. Earlier it was spam and ham. Since I have not given the different variable, I cannot see the previous form. It is cell is already run. Otherwise, I'll show the previous form also. Now here we have to compile. Model.compile. This only compile the whatever the model we have developed. Now here I am passing our training sample. And only 2 epoch I am running here. Only 2 epoch. In the batch size I take 10. These all parameters are modifiable. Means you are free to change this parameter, number of epochs, the batch size, then the training and testing ratio. These all are changeable. The number of neurons that is going to be placed at the first hidden layer, second hidden layer, everything is going to be modified based on the performance of the model. So if you run this scenario, it is taking only 2 seconds or 1 second. They are complete their execution training process, and we are getting 88%. But the same things I run on my own PC using Jupyter Notebook, and almost 5 to 7 or 8 minutes They are unable to complete a single epoch. What I'm trying to say is that much important is the resources. If the system won't have the proper resource, we cannot play with the large data set. But we have a Google Colab, and that is really doing their great job. So we can use this one. Anyhow, so what we are getting something like model is trained. Now we are going to test the accuracy. So here in the first line, validation X. This is our test sample that is pass model.predict. There is a function that is present in our Keras library. I use this one and I store the outcome into Y prediction. Again, Y prediction is something like probabilities, and we don't want that one. So we have to convert those complete probabilities into again the required format in order to get the complete matrix value. So few lines are there that is actually used to convert into the 0 and 1 format. If I run this cell, we get the precision, recall, and F1 score like this. It's a very bad. See the classification for class 0 is nothing. It is not classified. That doesn't mean this model is wrong. Nothing wrong. How many epochs I have run? Only 2 epochs. We have to change it. How many neurons we have? Only 8 and 12 neurons at the hidden layer. That also very less. So many things we have to analyze in order to build a good model. This is how a deep neural network is work and for the data set. Now finally see actually I can plot the confusion matrix as well, and all the messages are treated as a spam messages only. All have messages. That is nothing. It's a model actually not trained itself. Only 2 epochs. I just for the showing the process of developing the model, I have run only 2 epochs. So don't worry about the result. Just see how this is working. Now see the model configuration. As I said, if you plot this complete model, we have this kind of architecture. So in the input layer, having how many samples? It is 8672. That means number of features that we have from the very beginning. Then from input to first dense layer, that means 12 neurons, we have this kind of connection. So 8672 into 12. Then from dense 1 to dense 2, we have 12 into 8. From dense 2 to dense 3, or you can say this is output layer, we have 8 into 1. So this is our complete model that we have designed using few lines of code just before. Okay, so we don't have much time. We can continue only a few minutes we'll move quickly to the CNN modeling. Hopefully this is clear to everyone how the CNN model is developed. Now see this part, the same data set I am going to use. Connecting. Okay, this cell I have already run few minutes before. So, okay, I'm skipping, shall I continue? Okay, let me continue with this one. So I have read here SMS1 collections. There is a similar data for spam and ham, but it is I modify little bit here. Go. This line is added by me. I will show in the data set how it is. So this is my data. This is my data. If you see the here, if you see here, this is the first. You can say second line or second message of our data set is go. This kind of data, few words I have added. Intentionally I have added. What is the use? We'll see. So first message started with go. Second message I kept only few words, that is only go, and so on. So I have read this data. Then I kept the messages into the text variable, the object, and the label in this one. So class label is look like this one. So I'm skipping this part, already explained. So here it is, to categorical. Oh, it will not run. So this all formatting, only I am converting the data into the required format. Let me check, is there anything is missing? Okay, let me start with this part. We'll run one by one. Don't want to miss anything. Whatever I am looking does not exist. Probably this cell is not here. See, so this is my data. Then class level, this is my level. All the levels I am just reading. Then we have this cell. Why this cell is not running properly? Once this cell is run their complete their execution, we have to only see this part is printed here. So label is converted into one hot format, either a span or a ham. This is a converting the labeling, that nothing else. So this complete block is only convert the label into one hot format. That is required actually. Okay, so we'll move. We'll see that one. What is happening? Something is there. Okay, next is pre-processing. As I said, pre-processing is needed because library may not able to pass all the invalid characters. They may face some troubles. So what we are doing, we're just filtering. We are just cleaning our text by filtering all such characters that is listed here, like hash, dollar, percentile, the bracket. Then we have less than, greater than. So all are, you can say, special characters that is not used at all. They don't carry any meaning. So we have splitted, remove all these characters from our message, and then we have applied the tokenizer. Then finally we have some index value for all the messages. Whatever the left, then we have the index value. See here what we have. So for each and every message, if you see this one, this is the one message we have. Then we have the second message is here, starting from here, 46, 46. This is the second message, and so on. So this is the first message, this is second. Every message is represented, or you can say it is encoded with integer. Every word of the complete database is encoded with word, some integer value. Now see this one. The index value is like between the given, for each and every word, we have some indexes. For each and every word, we have some indexes. And somewhere, I cannot identify right now for the 46. Actually, I'll show in the few next steps what is the 46 meaning. I'll show that again. The indexing of all the words are happened in such a way that it is so accurate. See this one. So the number of unique words in the current data, actually the data set is changed. Do not compare with the previous one. This data set is changed, and we have total 9013 number of unique sample, and plus one you can say it is unknown. Now the first row of the data set is having 46, 46, 46, 46. All are 46. How many times it is? 2 to 4 to 6 and 7 times. Now see this data. The first row. The row is start from 0. That's why it's the first row. See how many times go is there? 2 to 4 to 6 and 7, right? Only 7 times. So we have this, means whatever the indexing is given to the each and every word, it is working perfectly. You can see the another one. Row number 4, we have the message is this one. We have message this one. Don't say so early and you see already, then I'll show the message again. Fourth row, that means fifth message it is. Fifth message. See here. You don't say early. You see already, then say something like this. Okay. So this is the message in the present in the fifth message that is presented here. Okay. Now see their conversion. See their conversion. If you see, actually I am unable to run this cell, otherwise I'll give me a minute. We'll try again. Why this cell is not running? Okay, this time run it is properly. Okay. This is all fine. This word index we don't want. Vocab size. This is a word 1 and 4. Now see the representation of, see the how this message, complete message is encoded. If you see the complete message, there is a word SAY. The second word of this message is repeated in the given message. Repeated when it is appear again at the last, right? So it's a not second, it's a third message, the third word. So if you see third word is encoded as 150, and complete message is also ended with 150. It is clearly visible. See here also U, the first word, and see here the first word 6 and 6. So particular character U is encoded or assigned an integer value 6, and say is assigned 150, and everyone is encoded perfectly. So this is the only integer encoding. Now what we have to do, something called padding. If you see the message 1 and message 5, the length of message 1 is only 7 words, in length of message 5 is more than 10 words. So every message are in variable in length. Every message are variable in length. See this one. This is our data set. And Keras says that we can't play with, you can say, inconsistent. The input size must be consistent. The size of the all input integer must be same. We cannot play with the variable length of input. So what we can do? We have to pad it. And padding concept is very simple. They are going to add or remove. They are limit the number of words in message. So you have to decide what is the length of the message you want to keep. For this case, suppose a message won't carry more than 40 words. 40 words is more than, if a word is having the 3 or 4 characters, then it is more than 120 characters. A simple message won't have more than that. More than 30 words won't carry. Then I kept 40. But if you are playing with the movie review sentiment analysis, the movie review is more than 5 or 6 lines, then you cannot limit with the 40. This is a user dependent. You have to decide what is the maximum length of a message you want to keep. So if I encode this message, the first message with the length of 40, then the remaining 33, only 7 words are present, remaining 33 are remain 0. And suppose a message having more than 40 words, then only first 40 words is going to be considered, remaining words are going to be truncated. Because the method says that you have to fix the number of words in each message is 40. And another one is embedding dimension, that is going to be used next, not here only. So I fix each and every message size is 40, and I'm going to use the padding to my complete data. Now see this message, what is going to text 0, and here is the data 0. Means the first message is encoded like this. Means what we can see here, we can see the first, whatever the message we have, that is there, but before that few zeros, because we are using pre-encoding technique. Then we have to make the total size of the complete message is 40. So whatever the message is present, they are kept, and whatever the remaining positions, they filled with the 0. But if you want to use post padding, as I used here, if you see the same output, what I'm doing, I'm just changing data 10 and see what is the output we are getting. So first, the message content and the remaining portions is filled with the 0. So pre or post, again, it also affects your model performance. What padding concept you have used, either pre-padding or post-padding. So you have to take care. Again, it is very problem to problem. We cannot say when pre-padding is useful, when post-padding is useful. But before using the padding, you have to decide what is the actual length of the message you want to keep. Because if suppose in some cases, a message may have 200 words or message, but generally message having 30 to 40 words. So we have to avoid of that particular message. Actually, that is the outlier or exceptional. We cannot consider, since our message in the complete data set having 200 words, we cannot set all the message length is 200. Instead, we have to check what is the average length of the messages in the given database. That is the one way we can fix the size of the message. That actually help you to get the good result. So same representation is here. Suppose line number 128. Here there is no 0. there is no zero, all are filled with some values. That means this message won't have less than 40 watts. I will show that one also. 128, that means 129 we have to see in our index. 129. If you see this one, yes, this one, how many words are there? See how long it is. So first line, we have to, we are looking for only more than 40. Yes, it's more than 40. If you see here, it is more than 40. This is the only one message that is encoded here, and there is no zero because no padding is required. We already, maybe few words are truncated, remaining are there. Now after that, we have to train just a split. The complete data you have to split into two parts, like the previous case we have done. Then here is the important thing. In morning session, I said we are going to use globe. We are going to use globe because it carry it saves actually a lot of processing time as well, because some weights are pre-trained and it carry a lot of meaningful meaningful context. So if you are doing from scratch, if you are training your own weights, then it will need a lots of resources as well and time. But if you are going through the globe that is already have the pre-trained embedding, it helps you a lot to quickly build the model and get the performance, a good performance in most of the cases. But in some cases, you are free to develop your own embedding. If the pre-trained embedding is not working, in your cases, you have to develop your own embedding as well. So what is doing here? We are just reading that file. That file, the globe downloaded file, it have the dimension is 100. I'm using this 100, that is a file I kept in this folder, same folder, FDP folder. I'll show that one also. See here. So where it is? Here it is. See this one. So globe file I kept here, globe.txt, and this file dimension is 100. 100. Now line by line. So what is there? The word is present at the first position and remaining their coefficient, 100 coefficient is there, that is their embedded value. So a particular word is represented into 100 different values, each and every word. Now in morning session, I already explained how to create a sentence matrix. For each and every word, we are looking for their matrix value, and that is going to be appended one by one. So for all words, we have a complete matrix. Let me check we have or not, otherwise we will open that PPT again. So what I am saying, so if each and every word is represented into 100 dimension, and we have to create this sentence matrix, and this matrix is created using this embedding form. So each and every word of the message is going to be read, and they are going to return our embedded matrix, embedding matrix. A few lines of code are there that is playing with only that embedding. So here it is. Now embedding layer. Here few things are needed in order to develop the model, like the sequential function, dense, dropout, activation. These all are the needed in order to develop. That's why it is imported from Keras. These are the few libraries we have to use in order to develop. If you see here, the number of words, this is the first parameter. Then we have, this is the input parameter. Then embedding dimension. What is the dimension? I kept here 100. In the very beginning, I have decided the dimension of my embedding is 100. See here. So this dimension is 100. This value is number of words is the number of words and different words present in our complete data. Then weight, embedded matrix. Whatever we got from previous scene, embedded matrix, the same weight is going to be assigned here. Then input length, maximum sequence length, means we are not going to exceed more than the length that you have decided. Here we have decided 40. Trainable, true or false. We are going to keep it false. If you keep true, that means all the parameters or the matrix that you got, everything is going to be trained again. We are not going to do training again and again. So this is our first embedding layer. From here we are getting our embedded matrix. Now see here. Then again one model is imported from Keras library. Sequence input, then save matrix. Then we are getting the sequence input. This input is going to pass here in the embedding layer. Then we have the first convolution layer having few parameters, few convolution. So once we have this matrix, we have to perform the convolution operation. Once we have the sequence sentence matrix, we have to perform convolution. How many? What is the size of the n-gram filters? I kept here 5. The filter size is 5. How many filters? 128. So I kept 128 filters, each of having 5. 5 is the n-gram size. Now this is going to convolve on the sequences that we got from the embedded matrix. Now whatever the output we are getting from that output, if you see again, so whatever the output, this is the convolution operation, and whatever the output we are getting from here, we are going to perform the pooling operation. See here. So whatever the output we are getting from where, we are going to perform pooling operation, and pooling operation by keeping the window size is 5. In the bracket, one parameter is passed, that is nothing but it's the window size. After pulling, whatever we are getting, that is going to be flattened and it is going to be passed to the fully connected dense layer. So first dense layer having 128 neurons and their activation function is ReLU. After this dense layer, we have another dense layer having only 2 neurons. Nothing but it is a, you can say it is the output layer. Then this is again function call of the model. We are passing the sequence input, we are passing the prediction, and here is the model compilation. See the model, whatever we have developed just now, this is the model. So input size is nothing but, we fixed to the 40. We are not going to exceed that one. Now, it is completely depend on how many unique number of words present in our database into the number of dimension, embedding dimension. So if you multiply the number of unique words that is present in our database, where it is, see here, number of unique words that is present in our database into 100, it is nothing but 9013 into 100. These many parameters we have. Then 9023. Then we have next layer, only what we kept from 40. Then we have 128, that many filters, and we have 36. Means 5 gram filter is going to convolve on the size of matrix is a 40. So again, I am coming back to this one. So if this is my matrix, that size is 40 and this size is 5, filter size is 5. So what is the output matrix? What is the size of this output matrix? 40 minus 5 plus 1. 40 minus 5 plus 1, that is nothing but 36. Into how many times this is? 128 times. Same thing is written there, 36 into 128. This is the output window, the first convolution neural network. Then you are performing pooling operation. So from each 5, we are going to pull one value. We are going to pull one value. So from 36, it is 7. If it is a 40, it may be 8. It is 8, but it is not 40. That's why one value is discarded. Only 7 values kept. And from all such 128 different values, we have to do the same digitation. Then if you multiply 128 into 7, then what we are getting? We are getting this value. Multiply, because that features actually going to be flattened. Means all the features that we have just now, we have pulled out, it's going to be flattened before passing to the dense layer. So this is 128 into 7 is 896. Now this all value is going to pass to this dense layer. Now multiply this 896 into 128. We are getting this value. Yes or no? Just take it out. 896 into 896 into 128. What is the output we are getting? 896 into 128. So
114688.
88
Yeah.
plus 128. Can you do?
Yes, 114816.
Yes, the same bias. So we have already seen how the weight parameter is calculated. These many parameters are there. Nothing but it is a weight. Parameter means it's a weight of the between the layer 1 to layer 2. Now from that hidden layer, or you can say this dense layer to output layer, we have only two neurons. 128 into 2 plus 2, that is 258. These many parameters we have. This is the number, all parameters, sum of the all parameters, and since earlier it was make true, that's why it is showing the all parameters are in trainable. But if we make the false, if we make it false, then this parameter is going to be escape 901300 is going to escape from the training part because this is pre-trained vector. Only these many parameters, since 1,14,000 plus 64, 1,78,000 parameters is going to be trained. Remaining 9 lakh parameters is not going to be trained at all. It will again save a huge resources and time. After that, nothing. It's the same process. Model.fit. We have to pass our data, training samples by fixing some epoch number, the batch size. These all parameters are changeable. You have to decide by observing your model performance. And only 2 epochs is run here, and the validation accuracy and the training accuracy is shown here. Then we have predicted something so with the validation data, and we are getting something result like we see here. So this is the result. We just continued on all the steps, and we are getting this kind of result. That is almost similar to the previous TF-IDF vectorization, not more than. It's almost similar. So there are 97, 98 also, and here also we are getting the same 97, 98. So this is the initial model that what we have developed for the CNN, and how all the CNN model is look like. You can see here. The first one is input layer, that is nothing but the number of sentences. Then sentence to their embedding size. So 40 into 100. Each and every message is going to be treated like this only, 40 into 100. From there, all parameter is going to be filter with 5 gram filters, and we have output is what? 36 into 128. All parameter is going to give the output is 36 into 128. 36 is nothing but you can see this is a 36. This is O1, O2, O3, and ON is here O36. This is coming with single filter, and the same O1, O2, O3, O36 will come 128 times. All carry different values because every time this 5 gram filter value F1, F11, F211 is going to be changed. It is random. So we are getting 128 times this 36 value. From that we have to perform pulling. So if this is the input, then we have to pull out from each 5 value. We are pulling 1 value. So 7 value from 1 filter. So 128 filters we have. So 128 into 7. That is nothing but the input that is concatenated here in the flattened layer, and we got the output is 896. All 896 parameter is passed to our dense layer that having 128 neurons. That is again fully connected layer, and we have already seen how many weights are there. Then from there to output layer, 128 into 2, and output layer contain 2, and that's all about the model architecture. Now we have seen some accuracy, we have seen some modeling, and but still a lot of things are left. Time is only 5 to 7 minutes, or quickly add in this model. What is left is the regularization, that is called dropout. Even the model is so complex, we can see number of parameters is too much. What we can do, we can increase if you are not getting the proper outcome, we can increase the filter size. See here the complex model is look like this. I have increased the filter size, then I have introduced the dropout. You can see this dropout means we cannot continue with all the outputs. We can remove few outputs. and then we can proceed with the remaining. So 30% of weights are dropped at before passing to the flattened layer. Here, instead of using only one 5 gram filter, you can use 2 gram, 3 gram, 4 gram, 5 gram, or depend on the problem, you can increase the n value of n, whatever you want. We don't know what combination will give the best result. But after getting the result, we have to reanalyze why this model is giving the best one. What is the reason? It will help to think quicker in the next time. So in this way, we can, instead of coming with a one layer of CNN, we can go with multiple layer of CNN. So this is a model architecture. See how it looks like. This is a completely complex look like. So multiple convolution, multiple max pooling layer is there. Then dropout is there. See here. This is the dropout layer. We are just removing some of the weights. Then finally we have something like this, and then again repeat the same stage. The model is, I have not printed, but model is look like the similar architecture whatever we have here. Just only it is going to be add few more things. So that is all from my side of the CNN. You can introduce, as I said, the dropout or more number of n-grams, as well as you can say the more number of convolution if the problem is needed. Else you can start from a simple model and see what is the performance given by them. If you are not getting the desired result, you can increase, you can modify the parameters, you can modify the number of neurons at the dense layer, you can change the size of the filters, you can change the number of filters, you can change the window size, you can change, instead of max pooling, you can use the average pooling. So all possibilities are there. You have to find it out which one is giving the best one. On the same data set, why I am saying this CNN is working really good. On the similar same data set, we can say one article is already published in FGCS, Future Generation Computer System. Here I am the author along with my supervisor, and one more sir is there. So this is the article that is published using the CNN only. You can see here and see the outcome. It's a best result 99.44 using the 10-fold cross validation technique. Many attempts are taken, many variations are taken, and then this result is came. So if you do little bit parameter tuning, probably you are going to receive a good accuracy or desired accuracy even, whatever you need. But it needs a lot of time and your patience in order to get the required things. So that's all for me. Actually, time is up. If you have any question, you can unmute yourself, you can ask. So if you have any questions, your question is welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. First of all, for such a nice presentation in detailed way again, like for the hands-on session. I would like to ask the participants, if you have any questions at any moment of time, if you felt that you did not understood anything, you can ask. Yeah, that's true, ma'am, Vijayashri, ma'am. I guess that you need the high, like simultaneously, you should also do the hands-on. That would have the great effect. But in the online mode, we have some restriction, right? So in the offline mode, we have the flexibility that we can go check, we can stop, see everything, but we don't know what is happening at the other side. And even it's very difficult also to keep the two laptops at the same time and do the hands-on, right? We understand that issue. But let's see, you will have the recorded session, then you can do the same thing in your system later on.
But from where should we download the pre-CSV file to practice?
CSV file of this data set.
Yes, sir, data set. Yeah, data set.
Yes, everything will share and they can use for the purpose. I'll share everything, whatever I discussed. There is no issue of sharing. We'll share, and that can be used for the practice.
Okay, sir.
Thank you. Thank you then. Thank you, everyone. Have a good time.
Really good response, sir, from all the participants. Thank you so much.
Thank
for
you.
such a nice presentation. It definitely helped all of us to understand the hands-on part in a better way. Right? Thank you so much, sir. We'll again connect. Thank you so much. Once again.
Thank you.
Okay, so well, we have done with all 3 sessions of today, right? Hopefully, the sessions, what we have done, it's like it's really worth. You must have realized that okay, we need the hands-on. Okay, the theoretical part, we understand, we get the information from somewhere, but for hands-on, like it's very important thing for any other practical is very important for any of the concept what we are learning. Obviously there are some limitations once we do the hands-on online, but again, as I said, that if you will have the recorded session, I'm going to share all the 3 sessions today because all speakers agreed to share their recorded session along with the data set, whatever sir has told. So I'm going to share all the materials with you by the end of the day, and then you can do the practice with you. Right, fine. Then I think we should conclude today. If you have any question for today's session, you can ask me. Tomorrow again, we are left with just one day, 3 sessions. So first session will have very important and very, I guess, interesting session on the, as I mentioned, I guess in the timetable also, it will be on the, I mean, something else, not exactly on the machine learning, right? So to connect that one, you'll like we have a very good speaker for that session. Fine. So for how we are promoting the Fit India or something, so she will be speaking about that one. So that will be on the first session. In the second session, we'll learn something about the cloud computing. So some of you are asking today also that how to use the machine learning in cloud computing with optimization. So all these things I am not clubbed in any of the session. But tomorrow in the second session, we'll have how to use the machine learning for the cloud computing purposes, and mostly the security purpose would be covered, I guess. So I don't know how what the speaker will present, but I guess he's working on the security part also, so I guess he will definitely talk about that one. And in the third session, which is very important, all of us know that we'll have the assessment, we'll have the feedback session. So I'd like to hear from all of you that how you have gone through this in this 5 days. Need your feedback so that we can improve also. And in the last session, that we'll do the validatory, right? So that's all for the tomorrow. So let me just conclude today. So if you have any question, I'll just wait for 2 minutes more. And if you have any other question, you can ask me. Attendance, you don't have to enter, as I said, always. Feedback link you will get in your login. Maybe tomorrow only you will get some time in your login. So keep checking that one. You don't bother about that, and then just be connected as you're connected from last 4 days. Your attendance are being marked for all the sessions. Okay, and for the assessment, 60% of the marks are compulsory. So out of 15, just count how many questions you have to you have to make correct. Okay, so that is one thing. So please revise the concept what you have gone through. I'm going to ask you the question only from those. Right, 15 questions will be there for 30 minutes, and for the next 15 minutes we'll have the feedback, and for the last 15-20 minutes we'll have the valedictory. That's what I have planned in the last session. Okay, right, fine. Then shall we conclude now? Okay, sir. Okay, ma'am. Okay, all. Fine, then we'll connect tomorrow. Till then, take care, all of you. Yeah, as I've said,